Hello, people of the internet. You should be able to hear us now. Please let me know if you can't. I'm using Streamlabs tonight instead of OBS, so we're hoping the audio is a bit smoother and a little bit less crazy on catching background fans, etc. Well, I did have the motor paraglider people fly past my house earlier, so that was loud as lovely. You can hear us, yay! So welcome to Heavyweight Gaming. Tonight we are going to be continuing with our campaign Fables Among Titans. These lot are either the Fables or the Titans. I shall let you decide. Before we get into the stuff of legend and dice rolling, we know the world is a bit of a mad place at the minute. Lots and lots of things are going off that lots and lots of people shouldn't really be targeting of, and unfortunately they are. We hope that over the next few hours we can give you a bit of a distraction, but stay safe, keep fighting the good fight. Yeah, look after yourselves, people. Those across the water, you have our love, and you all matter. Just remember that. So yes, that's the serious stuff out of the way, and hopefully we'll distract you with some good old geekiness for the next 3 hours, 7 minutes. Yep. Take care of yourselves. So, the good boring stuff now. Social media. If you wish to follow us on social media, you can see at the bottom Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. You can check us on there. You can see what we're getting up to, things that we've got coming up, little events and stuff like this, or more streaming shows. You can see our schedule is, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and now Sunday. This Sunday we're welcoming some good friends of ours, Dice of the Beholder. They're going to be running their campaign Chronicles of Nidham on Sunday evening. It's really cool. It's more real world in the sense of you bump into Greek, ye old English, that sort of mythology, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do on a Sunday. If you wish to support us in any way, please follow the channel, our YouTube, subscribe, follow, notify, all those little wonderful buttons that people ask you to click. If you want to see more of our stuff, you can do. If you wish to throw a couple of dollars, pounds at us, you can go to the Heavyweight Gaming Patreon page, where you can pick a tier and you get a lovely 5th edition compatible magazine that myself and my good old friend Rob, also known as Arcane, have been writing, and it's going really well. We've got lots of stuff, maps, lots of lore, classes, new rules, adventures, excuse me, and you get that e-magazine for being a subscriber to our Patreon basically. So yes, sir, thank you very much if you are. If you're not, don't worry about it, as long as you're watching, I'm happy. So yeah, what else have we got? Our lovely sponsors. So, our sponsors for this show are Sawdust Swearwords, who are incredible woodworkers, and they make dice cups, anything that is wood and can be turned and smoothed and made to look pretty from many flavours of wood, or these pens that you can see Luke holding up now. They're all inlaid with some beautiful like tulip wood, mahogany, oak, other trees that Dave, if he's watching, can put in the posts in the chat. If you go to Facebook and just type Sawdust the Swearwords, you'll find them. They're great, they're incredible. Trust me, just go there, look at their photos, and you'll understand what I'm on about. Arcane Script. It's not really a sponsor because that's the name of our e-magazine, but it's a beautiful magazine. I really like the logo, so it's on the overlay. Skadoosh. Ruffworx Creative. They are more woodworking and leather workers, but they do a very different aesthetic to what Sawdust does. It is more, I'd say, rugged, and more not handcrafted. He makes it with his bare hands. He's a bit of a caveman, he's got a big beard. Beautiful chap. Go look at his Facebook. You will see lots and lots of absolutely gorgeous photos of some of the stuff he's made, whether it be armour for a cosplayer, or leather based on Game of Thrones characters, or whether it be dice trays and stuff that he's making at the minute. And Ishana is a glass crafter who makes lots and lots of little figurines out of glass. You'll see her at the break and maybe pop up in the chat her link to her Instagram. Again, check out her photos and stuff. If you get to follow her on Twitch, you'll get to see her stream most nights, and you'll get to see, mainly Friday is her glass making night, but she does some really, really cool figurines, and she will be sending us some over to give away for you lovely lot. So when that happens, I'll let you know. I believe that is everything. So, a quick Introduction. We have AJ playing Daelfin, the elven blade singer from the Dynasty of Vey. We have Kit playing Griff, the paladin of the Thunderbird from Chukruani. We have Luke playing Kesvion, a fighter from the lands of Surut. We have Jade playing Xandria, a warlock that we don't mention, from the lands also of Surut. And we have Mel playing Ari, the swashbuckler from the lands of Ravenholm. Backstory incoming. So this lot essentially got their own little reasons way back when in session 1, so 6 weeks ago, possibly 7 weeks ago. And they headed to a city called Ebendorf, which is a coastal city and the main city within the province of the House of Tor. Once they got there, it turns out some bad stuff had been going on. They only just made it there. They got there, they have decided out of the goodness of their hearts to help the captain of the guard, who is a Minotaur, as obviously all captains should be. And they're trying to look into a bit of trouble that started a massive fire. There was an alleged assassination on the Lord and Lady of the House of Tor, and Daelfin is bound by honour, like the fool he is, to help find what went on with apparently a noble elf from the land of the Vey dynasty stole a very valuable item from the House of Tor and is currently on the run, it is alleged. Her bodyguard is missing and they are looking for the bodyguard. They found a silver coin, completely smooth. They did a bit of magical divination on it and discovered that it belonged to a dark elf called Gabriel. They have decided to go to the district of the Cobra, so the military district within the city of Ebendorf, to speak to Captain Berimund, the Minotaur. 3, 2, 1, we'll zoom in. So, you got that in, you got past the gates, you entered. There is that obvious aesthetic of this is regimented, disciplined, the buildings are built in very much next to each other, the roads are straight, the cobbles are better kept in here. You can see folks practicing and doing their thing, and you are heading up to the large barracks further up on the hill. Other than talking to each other on the way to the barracks, or the top fort, do you want to do anything before you get there? Nope, look at that. Nope. No side questing in the military district.
No, that seems like a bad idea.
Yeah.
You see a
One
gentleman.
thing at a time. One thing at a time.
You just see a random soldier put down his exclamation mark. So,
Not too
Not now.
you head up. The road is straight. There's not a lot of snaking around in here. They try to get to everything almost grid-like. You get to the bottom of the hill. You make your way up the hill, and it could be described as a fortress to many, especially probably Griff, Xandria, and Kess. Wow, F1 car going past the fort. To you, it does look like a fortress. It is a very large building. It's probably one of the most mightiest buildings you've seen, especially being from the deserts and the not so larger buildings from Griff. But yeah, it's clearly a statement of military powerhousing. To Daelfin and Ari, you've seen bigger. It's that simple. It's very much a military fortress. Ari, this pales in comparison to what you're used to. And Daelfin, you've seen bigger fortresses back home. Yeah. So, you approach. There are 2 Rhinotaurs stood at the main doors on the outside of it, both with great axes. The blades of the great axe resting on the floor, and they're just stood with their hands on top of the great axes, very stood up straight and towering, thickly chested individuals. And they just don't bat an eyelid. You can see that they're all in plate armour, whereas the guards on the way in were more chain and thick leather. These 2 large brutes are plate armoured up, and there is like colourings of crimson across, which kind of go with the crimson sashes that a lot of the guards and such have been wearing around the city already. Their helms don't cover their faces. They kind of go round the eyes and down the cheeks, almost in that Greek-esque style where they come down the middle, so they keep their eyes and mouth and that out. Covering up a rhino in plate armour is not easy. 3 blacksmiths have died trying. So, the doors to the fort are thick. They look wooden. They're plain. There's no strange motif on them like with the snakes on the way in. They're just a very obvious set of doors. Knowing that you've got this far, the 2 rhinotaurs don't bat an eyelid. You can assume that they assume the reason you're not dead is you've been let in. So,
Stick with that assumption then.
who approaches first?
I'm deliberately waiting for Griff to go before me.
I was
Wow.
going to say Griff would probably go first just because reasons. But I don't know what the hell he's going to say. You'll have to give me a second.
Just walk up and just be like,
Hello.
They look down at you. They both just nod. No sound given. They're about 9 feet tall.
Trying to think who said it. I'm assuming at some point Delphin has, so I think he's going to say in Delphin's voice, Captain Berimund.
That way. And they just point at the door. And it's sort of recessed back a bit. They're about 6 feet out where the columns of the front door stick out. So you'd have to just step past into the archway through the door.
Thumbs up. Thank you. In the ship captain's voice. And then I'll wave everyone else in and go.
Boulder back. Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, boulder back.
You step forwards. You shove the door. The door is heavy. Why do you keep saying yes, Delphin?
Just following behind. Just
Oh,
following.
right.
Yep.
I was like, what have I asked? What have I asked? Yep.
Hello.
You push the door. It's thick. It's about 8 to 9 inches thick is the door, and it's heavy when you push it open. There is no creak to it. The hinges are well looked after. It opens up. You step inside. It is very stone cold. We had the rock a couple of weeks ago. Stone cold tonight. There's no heating, it seems, going on around the building. Everywhere is stonework. The walls, the floor. There are a couple of low-hanging chandeliers where the candles are small and getting to the ends of their life. There is a few tables in front of you as this it's almost it looks like a mead hall within a hall. There's these long tables, lots of benches and stools, and there's the leftovers of some sort of meal and drinking that's been going on. And you can see a few people that clearly work there, clearing up and tidying up. At the back of the hall, there are 2 archways that disappear off, and these workers, or whoever they are cleaning up and taking stuff back through those. To your right, there is a large armoury, and it's more a display armoury. So there's no door. These are now just open archways. To your right, there is just rows and rows of all this different ornate plate armour that is on these stands. Some of it is more curved, some straight edged, others has got spikes on it. It's all very darker metals and coal coloured. It's not very shiny, knightly armour. And there seems to be. Give me a perception check, Griff.
I actually rolled well. Perception. 17.
17. You notice that as you look into the hall, the armour on the left, and you follow it round in the horseshoe shape that it is back towards you. There's still a few empty stands, but it looks like it's an evolution of armour. Like the immediate one on your left looks, even for yourself, looks a bit archaic and of an older design that you've seen heavier armour in, and it just resonates a memory or two where you read a book about armour. On your left,
Probably look around and be like,
above each of the armour sets is a weapon on a rack, whether it be a 2-handed weapon of axe, sword, hammer, 2 long swords, 2 short swords, an axe and shield. There's a variation behind each set of armour. And it's very much almost a museum to their progression of armours and such. On your left, There is another open room that is more rectangular than the square-esque one of the museum bit, and in there is Captain Berimund, as you've seen him and know what he looks like. He is not in his armour, he is instead in a sleeveless V-cut long evening robe's a bit much, but it's just more of a casual robe that is tied with a silver chain at his waist. And he's talking to a couple of, well, they appear to be human, and he's talking to them over a very, very thick, massive oaken desk. Straight in front of you at the back, there is a very wide, maybe 10-12 feet wide set of stairs that go up, and then there is a balcony that looks down into this main room, and there are rooms above you. You can guess that there's probably 3 floors to this fort, but that is your immediate view in front of you.
Okay.
And to your left, right, etc.
Right. Well, if I've seen Berimund, he's busy. I'd kind of like lean and look at the room, and then look at the others who haven't met Berimund. I don't think so.
Only Delphin.
Yeah, I have.
Point. Yeah. Delphin's voice, Captain Berimund.
Ari, you know.
But then look mildly awkward and kind of then look between everyone again, kind of like to interrupt.
You notice that Berimund is pointing to something on and like moving his hand around and then discussing, and then the 2 humans are again pointing to this piece of parchment that's on the table.
Okay.
Well, considering besides yourself, the only other person who has spoken to Captain Berimund, I think it would be best if Delphin went and asked.
Oh, yeah. That's going to go brilliantly. Dish, 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 on the side of the door.
On the door you've just come through?
Basically on to Berimund to basically alert the
The door
fact
on
that
the
there's
left.
someone waiting at the door.
Right, so there's no doors once you're inside, it's just archways, but you can bang.
Yeah, on the archway.
So you give a bang on the archway, Berimund and the 2 soldiers look up. They look across to you. You now notice that the 2 soldiers have a feminine look to them. They've both got short dark hair. They are still in there, all their armoured garb and such. The closest one to you, she has a very similar expression to Xandria. Like someone's ass has been slapped, you know what I mean? And and the other one's got a bit more of a smile about her, but they both have a scar, both over their left eye, that runs from their forehead and curls round and down instead of straight across. Yep.
They're identical on the same side.
Identical-ish. They've both received a similar wound in that area of the face.
Okay.
But they're not an exact identical, and they're not identical looking. They're just both. They've got that military-esque identical where everyone has the same haircut, etc.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Sorry to interrupt, Captain.
I'm guessing you have news.
We have some leads and stuff to bring to your attention, yes.
We'll come in then.
Gonna just motion everyone in.
Following.
You're walking. The 2 soldiers, they move round now to Berimund's side, and they now stand one on each side. They don't have a helmet. They have a short sword sheathed at their hip, but they just then stand, hands crossed in front of them, and they stand regimented. They don't interrupt. As you approach, he's rolled up the parchment so you're unable to see it, and passed it back to one of them, who is now holding it on his right. And he pulls a huge leather cushioned armchair, just drags it over, and he sits. It looks quite an impressive throne-like image, where this 9-10 foot minotaur, chest bared, Gillette, sponsored, and just motions to the chairs that are on the far side of the room. Sit, speak.
I'll motion for everyone else to take a seat first. and then when everyone else is done, I'll take a seat and then just point to Griff. My captain here has been doing some investigating, and who has the coin at the moment?
Me.
I'll motion to you. If there's anything you want to show him, boss.
I will grab the coin and kind of like hold it out. As if it's like, wow, look at this amazing piece of evidence. It means literally nothing at the moment.
Berimund tilts his head and looks at the smooth silver disc in your hand. What?
I'm gonna say in Berimund's voice, the fire.
Oh, I will say actually, sorry, I do apologise. Now he's not in his armour,
Yeah.
Griff, you can see now the full tattooing of the enormous bird known as A-Rock, not the Rock, but A-Rock, and it is flying over his chest and shoulder and then up his neck, and you can see that there's more of a there's more to it that goes down and around. There's one of the Thunderbird, and there is a phoenix that kind of comes down into his flank that you can see as he's moving. The robe he's wearing, yeah, it's the size of you on his flank. But yeah, he's clearly got markings of things you know. So you said fire.
Yeah, I say the fire in his own voice, and then I look at Delphin and like hold it out to him, like, can you explain? I don't remember all the words you used.
I'll take the coin. We had a good search over the ruins to try and see if we could find any additional evidence through.
It's gravy time.
detection. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little stumped why this hasn't appeared on any of your guys' view. I assumed you'd had a wizard look over the place.
It's just a coin.
This came up. It is a coin which has the ability to cast a powerful spell. And the spell basically dominates the mind of somebody to the point in time where if they don't do a certain task, they start to die quite horribly. We had it divined, and am I correct in, and I'll look over correct in the statement that Gabriel was the owner of this? A drow by the name of Gabriel?
Mhm.
And I'm just going to see if I can watch his reaction to me saying those
One eyebrow raises that I can't do, so you'll have to use the theatre of your mind.
Am I correct in that?
Yeah, it was Gabriel. He was Dark Elf. It was myself and the captain here that were divining essentially with the help of somebody in with the help of
Celia.
Celia.
Never heard of her.
Well, regardless, I'll flip the coin to one of his soldiers, just to one of the ones to his side.
His hand snakes out and he
Nice.
catches it. You address me.
Impressive.
And
I just didn't want to hand you anything. I know some people are weird about that.
he just leans forward for absolutely no reason and goes, I fear nothing, and sits back.
Right,
Okay then.
Well,
But yes,
He
for
holds-
that to be in the rubble, we kind of figured potentially was at least our lead to go on for you.
Why?
Because it's in an area that was known for meeting up of brigands and thieves, an item that could compel anyone to do anything in an area that has burned down just after a assassination attempt at a castle. Kind of, there's got to be some level of link to that, surely.
He leans to his left to the soldier who had a bit more of a smile on her face. Fetch me Gabriel. She nods and leaves.
Cool. Well, this is great.
well,
Griff is probably quite obviously wide-eyed. Like,
I can't sleep down. It's terrible.
I didn't realise he was in your. Didn't realise he was in your employ, sir.
He is not. He is in the employ of Lord Corbin Astaroth, a High Lord who resides here.
Yikes!
All right then. Well, we've offered what we can over this. We're still looking into further bits, but this seemed a rather large thing just to need to bring up immediately.
We shall wait. You may drink.
We shall at that.
And he just gestures towards the corner of the room where there is a, one of those globes that opens up half. And then it's got like the drinks, all the drinks in there. There's one of these, and it's a huge, like copper, really well crafted globe of Colossus that is open halfway, and there are several bottles of liquid in there.
A man of taste, I understand.
Everything in this room is scaled to Berimund. Everything, including the drinks cabinet globe. So when you walk towards it, it is an enormous globe. If you walk towards it. I will leave now and return. Do not leave.
Nods.
But he's about to sit up, and then he realises that Kess, Ari, and Xandria are new. And he sits back down in his armchair. And who are these three? He's staring at Griff.
I have written down everyone's names and who said them in different voices.
Oh yes.
I will have to have a really, really quick search because I'm fairly certain I know one off by heart. I say signal to Ari and say Ari in Ari's voice.
Okay.
I signal to Xandria and say Xandria in Kesfion's voice. And I signal to Kesfion and say Kes in Xandria's voice. That one's a bit pointed sounding, kind of like Kes.
Brilliant.
But that's, he doesn't have a choice in how it sounds.
Are they under your employ?
Tentative nod.
Give me a deception check.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine.
Love those. Those are great.
So paladins
16.
are great at 16. Drink. And then he stands up and walks out. The not so smiley soldier, she stands by the doorway into this room, but on the outside of it. So she's standing on the main hall side and just stands there. And you see Berimund leaves and just disappears off left. So he hasn't left the building, he's headed left. You can imagine either upstairs or to the kitchens. Who knows? He's a 10-foot barbarian minotaur.
He goes wherever he wants to go.
Yeah. Nobody's stopping him.
So you are now in
Not me, that's for sure.
Captain Berimund's personal office. Gabriel is being fetched.
Does anyone feel like they've done really badly in school and they really, really wish that they just kept their mouths shut?
Yep. Yep. Like you've just grasped on the teacher's pet, essentially.
But you didn't know because you only just moved to this school like a minute ago.
I don't know the school politics.
Yeah, I think Kespion's kind of just like glancing between like where Berimund's kind of moved off his purposeful stride to where they are clearly being not guarded to stay here, but picking up on the vibes that person's probably got better stuff to do than making sure that we sit here, but they're making sure that we stay where we are, and then just kind of like side-eyeing Xandria, just being like, oh no.
I'm trying to think. Is it cool to just say that Griff and Delphin might be sat near each other?
I'm at the drinks cabinet.
I will follow you.
You are entirely up to yourselves where you wish to be sat, walking, etc.
I think Harry might also follow the
That's cool. I'm gonna, if I'm in a shot of at least one other person, I'm going to repeat something that the chief said, which was, Gabriel works for Lord Vincent. and then repeat what Berimund said, which was, Gabriel is in the employ of Lord Corbin Astaroth.
Interesting.
The first one's quite quiet because the chief said it quite quiet. The second one might be a bit louder. Because it's all like that. But yeah, he's just making a point of saying that and awkwardly looking at the drinks and then probably toddling back to a seat.
As I'm pouring all these drinks, I'm just going to look at her and go, this next section, you might, since you know the land, want to talk more than me on it. Mostly on the grounds that they're already a bit ropey about me because of gestures do literally everything.
The evidence.
I mean, I can try, but he's also seen you.
Oh, go on, Griff.
That's I'll be honest, that might help. It'll be interesting to see what his reaction will be.
Does anyone help themselves to a drink?
Oh, hell yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Because I think the siblings are definitely getting a vibe of. I think it's pretty safe to say they've been pulled in and got a reprimand before, and they're getting a little bit of like you sit like a little bit straight around your chair, like.
I mean, Kess might be sitting a little bit straight in his chair. Andrea has essentially just kind of almost slammed, like she has kicked her leg over herself. She's sat there like, what?
Chilling.
So,
Yeah, chilling like a villain.
Dale, and Harry, the glass is a rarity in a use for common things around the home type situation. And there are about 8 of these really thickly made glass, like I say shot glasses, they look like half pinters to yourselves, but they are sat and arranged around this globe. And you can see that the globes actually have quite a lot of attention given to it, and that it does indeed map out as much of Colossus as that you are aware of, and some places you do not know. The liquids in there, of the say 12, 13 bottles, again these are glass made with corks in the top, and there are a variation of reds, greens, browns. None of the liquid, would I say, looks dirty like ale. They're very nice, clear, not clear, but they've got a very, I don't know the word, there's a word that means they're good. Alright, accept it and move on with your life.
Shiny.
Tiny.
They look like shiny booze.
Shiny booze.
Shiny booze.
Fair play. Eeny, meeny, miny, you.
Cool. You take a drink. As in, you take a drink with you, and you guys. Yep. There's still no return of Berimund or anybody else, and you all sit there in silence drinking.
Yeah, no, like I think Kess is like literally just kind of like tapping one foot, kind of like fidgeting a little bit with like a loose thread of like some of the embroidery on like a sleeve, just like.
You know, we're here to help the investigation. Even if we've got something that's not relevant, we're not in trouble, guys. You know that, right?
Well, I know that.
Not say that under no circumstances did you want to run in with this Gabriel guy, and
we're not allowed to leave right now.
Look,
I'd feel a lot better being allowed to leave right now if I wanted to.
Okay, if it gets to a situation where he suddenly throws off his cloak and reveals himself as some sort of master murderer villain and tries to go for us, we are in a massively well-armed fortress, and I don't think they're going to let that happen. If this guy's particularly subtle, we're going to get to leave before anything happens. Don't worry too much.
You didn't see the look he gave me.
Oh, come on, he can't be that dangerous.
Island wave, boys. Literally says that in Delphin's voice.
What was that?
Smile and wave, boys.
Smile and wave.
In Delphin's voice. I love it.
That's amazing.
So,
Good advice.
do you wish more talkie time, or do you want to fast forward?
would be much the
How
same.
many-
Just
How many ways in and out of the room are there?
One.
No
Oh.
windows, no nothing like that, no fireplace.
There is no.
Somewhere creative to escape.
There's no fireplace. There is a stained glass window that is about 6 feet high. As in, you could walk up to it and you could probably reach up and touch it, but the glass itself is a 6 foot piece of glass.
Yeah.
But it's about maybe 3.5 foot wide, so you could go through the stained glass window. The image on there is of a raven with a crown above its head. Yep.
That's Griff.
no, it's not.
With a crown above its head, and then a rolling hillside.
Okay. So there's at least the door, the window if it gets hairy. Anything around the room looks like it's is there like a suit of armor with this guy's blade or something nearby, something that could be something we can improvise with if things start going
The
really wrong.
only weapon other than the ones of yourself in there is a great sword on a rack behind you. That the last time Dalefin and Griff saw it was on Berimund's back.
Yeah. Okay. That's
So it's probably
about as much
about
as
the size of Ari.
Oh, it's a monster. I'll give you that. If you were to look at a great sword, it is bigger than a great sword. Is the best way to describe it to your friends. So, as time passes, you share a drink. You discuss throwing yourselves through a 6 foot pane of stained glass.
It's a good plan.
Or swinging the Ari-sized sword. And you hear the thick doors open, which is probably louder than that. And then as you look out through the doorway, you can see into the hallway. You see the soldier that left before. She is escorting a... excuse me. Try not to die. She's escorting a dark elf. This dark elf is in very nice crimsons and purples. His clothing is absolutely stunning. You can see from here the amount of wealth that's been put into those items of clothing. Ari is essentially spotting the named, Primani that is wearing on. They're definitely Ducci, Primani, you know what I mean? They're all on there. But as they're walking towards you, they do not appear to have a weapon on them, on their hip, their back, their boots, or anything. They are very smiling. Their hair is of a silvery white. Their skin is of a very, very dark purple, real dark purple. They're coming towards you with this guard. A couple of moments pass. They enter the archway. There is a dark elf before you. The dark elf looks straight at Ari and straight at the lovely Griff. And
we recognise the dark elf, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Just double checking there hadn't been a mix-up.
Although the last time you saw the dark elf, he was semi-naked in a bathtub. But
that's even more awkward.
And the smile on the dark elf broadens. Well, hello, the peeping toms, and he gives a long flourished bow towards Ari. And
At that point, you will get up.
Yeah, same. Just
Excuse
me?
How are we all doing? Why are we all here in Captain Berimund's office? And this dark elf walks over and gets themselves a drink. The guard, soldier, she goes and stands with her pal on the outside of the archway. And they just hear a clinking of glasses. Berimund is not back yet.
Where's that? Danger!
Pours himself a drink.
Danger!
The dark elf then walks round the table and sits in Berimund's chair and puts his wonderfully expensive boots on the table cross-legged and starts
Before
to
he gets
drink.
a chance to sit,
Oh, okay.
I want to just hold a hand out. Delphin, nice to meet you.
It looks down at your hand. I do not touch the
See, I knew someone didn't like being handed things or being touched around here.
Yes.
My apologies.
But pleased to meet you, Delphin. I'm Gabriel.
It's an honour to meet you, Gabriel. I'll then sit
It is
down.
indeed. It is indeed. And then Gabriel will then sit at Berimund's chair and put their boots up on the table, cross-legged. So, how are we all? Why are you here? You seeing the captain as well? He's looking at Griff and Ari all the time.
Griff is not making eye contact.
Griff can feel.
Yeah, no. Griff can definitely feel it. Griff is like...
Has never been quite as interested in masonry up until now.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that stained glass window!
Oh my god, it's a bird. It's like
It's
me.
I wish I was up there.
Harry wants to do the same, but he knows that this guy apparently is quite dangerous, and so he's just kind of like, he tries to bluff his way through it. Probably gonna fail, not gonna lie.
So far now, won't we? So how are we all?
Good.
Good.
So what are you doing here?
Sightseeing.
Are you enjoying the sights? Just kind of leans towards Andrea.
Not in particular.
Ooh, well played. So it's nice to see you two with my clothes on. My apologies if I know you were.
That again, like, gets a.
If I'd known you were dropping in, I may have better prepared myself. So what are your names? You obviously, I say you obviously know man. Well, you do know man. I've just announced it. Ha.
Smooth. Very smooth.
Well, thank you. So that's Delphin.
I'm Harry.
Hello, Harry. Short for anything?
No,
Deception
just
check?
Harry. These are all good.
These are all good.
Please roll good. Oh, he didn't roll great.
Breathe.
He's probably got an insight of like 50 million.
13.
13. Just
No, plus 6.
as you say, as I say, short for anything, and you say, no, just Harry. He looks at you, smiles. To each their own. And you, bird person. I'm afraid I've never met one of your race. Hello, look, you can look at me. It's fine.
No, he'll look at him once he's been directly addressed.
Oh, okay.
But it's still very awkward and like twitchy eyes. I'm trying to decide if Griff is stupid enough not to know that giving his name away is a bad idea. Yeah, he's dumb enough. He's gonna say, Griff.
Pleased to meet you, Griff. Is that it? Short for anything? Looks across to Harry.
Shakes his head.
And you two wonderful creatures.
Zandria.
A beautiful name. And yourself? Looks at Kess.
I just elbow Kess, just like
Celtic fear, though. Celtic.
just
fear.
under my breath, just tell him your name, brother.
Stranger danger.
Ah, you are siblings.
He just kind of like side eyes Andrea. Kiss beyond.
Ah, wonderful. So, how are we? You didn't answer how you all are. You all look very nervous. Except that one. And he points at Zandria.
Looks at Delphin. Delphin doesn't seem particularly nervous either.
You did see his insight roll.
There's that. Like I said, he probably got 50 million.
Quiet bunch, eh?
We're all doing fine, I feel. How about yourself, sir? How's the week been treating you?
Ah, terribly. There's been a fire. I lost my favourite coin. My employers have run away and abandoned the city. Not employers, employees. I do apologise. They owe me a great deal of money.
Your favourite coin?
Yes, a coin. You purchase things with it. Do you not have coins in the Vey dynasty?
Oh.
I would assume you are Vey from
have.
your attire.
You would be correcting your assumption. It's just weird for someone to get attached to one coin.
No, not this coin.
Well, so she lost a lot of coin.
It is a very unique, important coin to me.
Oh.
Yes.
All right then. No specific importance you can speak of? I'm just curious. It seems rather weird for me to have somebody of your stature, your clothing. I imagine you go through coins quite a bit.
Do you not have sentimental attachment to anything where you're from?
Never something that I spend, and not a lot.
It's not a coin you can spend, dear elf.
Oh. And I suppose that's as much as you're telling me.
If I ever find the coin, I will gladly share you with its secrets. And he just raises his drink to you. Yep. You hear a and then the scraping of metal as Berimund in full plate, his full crimson plate, helmet on, so his horns come through, it's all nicely fashioned around him, steps through and the metal scrapes on the archway as he comes through, but leaves no mark on the armour. But you can see you can see a regular groove on that bit of the archway where the Berimund, forever trying to get through that archway, not originally designed for minotaurs. He walks into the room. I have to leave. Grabs his great sword, sheaths it on his back. Gabriel, and he throws Gabriel his coin and says to him, "These lot found your coin in the fire. Explain yourself." And Gabriel's like, just catches the coin as if, "I've been looking for you. Oh, you found it. Well, thank you very much for returning to me." Yes, I'm not surprised it was in the fire. The dear chap Marcus at the Cave of Bats. He was, I had him hired for a job. The coin was merely there to ensure that job, dear Captain. Magics, again. Yes, magics. How else do you get an assassin to do that work for you and remain loyal? At the word assassin, Berimund, you can see him, his face scrunch in hatred at that word. Dear Berimund, don't be so naive to the world. Not everyone can storm a castle by themselves. You beautiful beast, you. Berimund just stares at him silently. So, I'm a little bit confused. How may I leave? Thank you for the return of the coin. Berimund just stares at you lot, expecting some sort of anything.
You said you hired Marcus.
I did, yes. And his good friend Kublai, although I do believe Kublai lost his life a few nights ago. Dreadful shame.
He's lost his life?
Kublai, yes. Killed in an ambush in the Garden of Roses. Dark times we are living in here.
He kind of looks at the elves and like, where do we go from here?
I'm going to give Gabriel just sort of a head-to-toe look for a moment. This Marcus and Kublai.
Yes.
I'm assuming he was a tabaxi.
Kublai was indeed a tabaxi, yes.
They were reported seen at the scene of, weirdly, an assassination attempt.
The
great importance to this city, I
you
believe.
Speak of the attempt on the Lord and Lady's life, yes?
That would be the starter, yes.
Well, Marcus is an assassin.
And you literally just confessed to hiring him.
Yes, I did. I hired him to kill Kublai. Looks at Berimund, and Berimund nods.
Tess has been watching all of this like a really bizarre game of like ping pong, like. And at this point, he just kind of like leans back in his chair, just like.
So you hired Marcus to kill his. Forgive me for prying your details. Why?
Simple. Kublai is an enemy of Ebendorf. Looks at Berimund. He's a spy for Nabat. Now the Nabat is a place in Surut, Kesvion and Zandria on the far eastern coast, where a lot of Tabaxi live.
Okay.
When Gabriel asked me for the permission to have him assassinated, I gave permission. Begrudgingly. And Gabriel and, yes, it was quite genius actually. Marcus and Kublai are best friends. It was glorious seeing Marcus try to say no. But, oh, trusty coin here.
Right. I'm just going to turn to the captain. And you knew about this before bringing Gabriel in on this. Is there a lesson that you're trying to teach us? I'm kind of curious.
About
you seem
what?
to know this. You seem to know how this conversation was going to go before Gabriel got here. If you just said that was possibly what it was,
I wouldn't have seen your reactions.
No, but we could have been out trying to find the actual person.
You said you would investigate. You brought a coin of one of the people of the city, thinking it was important. I expected more. You haven't presented more. Evidence of a silver coin in the rubble of a fire. What evidence is that of anything? At the scene of a crime that was heavily enchanted. Why is it enchanted? Gabriel's like, yes, don't worry about it, Captain. It's merely a minor illusion that I put upon the coin. Berimund is now looking at you lot and Gabriel, and then looks at Gabriel hard. Why is it enchanted? Well, Daelfin, why is it enchanted?
It holds the Gaius spell, and from what learnings I've had of it, it basically forces somebody to perform a task or they succumb and die.
Berimund steps forward towards Gabriel. Gabriel, in stupidly rapid response, is off that throne and back several steps away from Berimund. Dear Captain, I have never ever used the coin upon you. And that halts Berimund in his step. You can get that element of doesn't like assassins, doesn't like the forced nature of the coin. It's not really in Berimund's mantra of life. Especially for Griff, who can see the birds, or has seen the birds across Berimund.
I'll turn to Gabriel, not to Gabriel, to Berimund at this point. Can we go? You would know if he'd used it on you. It's not something that's particularly subtle.
Yes, listen to the way he knows what he speaks. And Berimund kind of takes that as that like they're both of you are saying the same thing, and you can see a visual rest in his stance.
But that is the reason we brought the coin to you, sir. It seemed very like the weapon of an assassin.
He takes his greatsword off and puts it back on the rack and sits in his throne chair. Sit. If none of you have stood up. If you're all still sat, that's fine. Although, I'm assuming Daelfin stood when he held his hand out and didn't just try to shake his hand from sat down. It's a bit weird.
Yeah, but he sat back down afterwards. Yeah.
Gabriel rests, just like leaning on the wall. Still a distance away from thingy. Oh hey! Thank you for the raid, Dwarf Warrior. Yes, you've just come in at the perfect time of these lot about to be squished between two powerful entities of death.
Yay!
Or level 1. Who knows? Who knows? But yes. Where were we? Ah, yeah, Gabriel's just leaning against the wall. He looks across to Gabriel, then looks across to you lot.
So, do you believe Gabriel started the fire?
Looks back at Gabriel. Gabriel's just smiling.
I'm gonna look around the rest of the group.
Forgive me for asking. Why did you use Marcus to kill Kabbalai?
Gabriel. One, Marcus is a very good assassin. Or at least used to be, in my opinion, until he failed to kill Kublai and then fled the city. But as to why I needed Kublai removed, and Marcus is very close to Kublai. They worked together, or did at least. And if one...
Marcus was happy to take out a friend.
Oh dear, no, he was not happy. Would you take out your brother just for the coin?
So what did you offer him?
Not even an answer, Kess. I'd watched that one. He was offered 300 gold.
And he took the 300 gold.
Never received payment.
But I assume there was no argument about the payment.
There was no argument about the payment. Marcus was foolish enough to take the job on without realizing who the target was. Once the target...
So you didn't tell him who the target was to begin with?
I'm arranging an assassination. I cannot give away details in case they run away and tell them. Once Marcus had committed to the contract and then decided that he did not like the idea of killing a friend of his, he tried to back out of it. As gestures towards Dathan, as you were aware, such magics can be reversed or removed. And it would look like Marcus had some help from a group of individuals not local of Ebendorf. And then you see Berimund look across the Gabriel and go, "You were not local of Ebendorf." "Dear Captain, I've been here longer than you have." And Berimund just snorts.
How did you lose the coin?
Marcus was to keep hold of it, for the magic to remain upon them. But once he'd managed to have it removed, the coin was just a coin until I reapply it to somebody. Smart, I'll give him that. Going to die soon, I would hope, once my my staff catch up to him and his friends.
You applied it to someone else then? Because otherwise Delphin wouldn't have been able to sense the magics on it, surely.
No. That is not how it works, dear Kesfion. The magic of the coin is held within. It merely needs activating, or attuning, or used in a casting of a spell as a component. Once the curse had been removed, curse, such a terrible word, from Marcus, I was able to use it on another. But unfortunately, the place burnt down, and I was unable to retrieve it. I'm very grateful that you have. My arcane members were not able to find it.
I'm just going to give him a very weird look of, really?
Give me an insight check, Xandria and Delphin.
I'm kind of giving him a look of really as well, because
Alright, Chris.
that just sounds dodge.
Give me an insight check.
I'm not saying I'm gonna know anything.
Just all of you give me insight checks.
Yeah, like not a bright beast at all, but that even seems like.
Simultaneously, we all tilt our heads to the right.
He's probably got deception at the wazoo, but 16.
Oh yeah, 100%.
18.
16, 18, Griff.
10.
Xandria?
18.
18, cool.
I can't read this guy.
as he says, yeah, my arcane couldn't find it even. You all tilt your head. There's no inflection on his face, no twitch. Doesn't appear to be lying or telling the truth, just speaking. You don't really know.
I found it with a simple detect magic spell. I would question whether you're hiring actual arcanists or people who are selling snake oil.
Snake oil can be used, and looks across to Kesvion and Zandria.
Hesh just kind of looks at Sandria and then looks back and then he like tilts his head again. Like...
Sandria just gives pointed look, just.
Cool.
It's not really relevant to the conversation, but okay.
Well, it is. They
So-
definitely mentioned it. So what? So what do we...
I will literally be stood looking like this going,
So, dear Captain, are you going to allow me to leave, or are you going to try to arrest me? And Berimund looks at Gabriel, looks at you lot.
Are you accusing him of the fire?
Highly suspicious.
Surely it wouldn't have been difficult to put after killing someone to make sure that they burnt down where Marcus used to operate out of.
He looks at Gabriel. I've no reason to burn down a shanty little tavern. It achieves nothing.
Unless you were doing it to hide something, like the coin.
The coin would not be damaged by fire, as proven, and he flicks it around in his fingers.
You said you used it on another, and the place burnt down before you could retrieve it.
I used it on another.
That's what you said.
Says nothing.
I think the only thing I would be accusing at this time of was just a terrible breadcrumb trail that leads straight to somebody if they're innocent or not. So he's either completely innocent or he's an absolute idiot. And I don't strike this man as an idiot.
You'd be surprised.
So at the moment, I wouldn't say I was making any accusations yet, personally. I'd say more evidence was probably needed.
So,
I have one question,
for who?
and I look at Gabriel.
Cool. Just gotta get in method, you know what I mean?
Where were you when the fire started? Do you have anyone who can tell us where you were, give you an alibi, just to say you weren't there and the start of the fire?
I was with dear Lord Corbin Astaroth.
Yes, your employer, if I am correct.
You are correct, and a very good friend of mine. We spend many an evening together.
See, we've been told that your employer is actually someone else.
I have other loyalties, but my funding does indeed come from Corbin. Lord Corbin looks at Berimund in an apologetic way.
So Lord Corbin is your benefactor?
He is indeed. A very generous one, might I add.
Yes, I can tell by your fancy clothing.
Well, thank you. They are top of the range.
One might call it garish to the eye, but
Looks at
I'm
Dale
a
Finn.
simple person.
Looks at Dale Finn. Looks him up and down. Yes, garish.
Forgive me, I find the fanciness of it all a little bit over the top and not really needed.
Ah, good for you. So, Berimund looks at you a lot, waits for a moment. If you say nothing,
You may go, Gabriel, but I will be watching for you.
I'm not surprised, Berimund. You're always watching for me. And Gabriel leaves, unless anyone stops him.
Nope.
Cool. Gabriel walks on. Gets to the... Sandria's like, Eldritch Blast! Just throws the D&D Beyond at him. Gabriel gets to the doorway, turns. See you all soon. And buggers off out the fortress. Berimund looks at you.
I rather hope not.
Sits back. His armour obviously clunk 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 as he sits back.
I do not like that dark elf.
No, something is not quite right. I find it rather amusing that he was tripping over his own statements at one point.
Berimund looks confused.
We've heard it that he works for Lord Vincent.
He does.
So does he work for both?
Everybody works for Lord Vincent and Lady Karina.
In what capacity?
Citizens of Ebendorf. Loyal to the house.
He sort of gestures to himself. Not like, wee. But he gives just a bit of a, like, example here.
I assume, like me, the rest of you are highly unconvinced that he had absolutely nothing to do with the fire.
Anyone who has somebody who can enchant an item to the 5th circle of magic that doesn't know the 1st circle of magic to detect magic is full of something that it smells terrible. So he either left that deliberately or he's an idiot. And I think he left it deliberately.
Perhaps to throw investigators off the actual trail.
I'd say he's complicit in it, Captain, but I wouldn't say he was the main culprit.
Accomplices.
We can go back out and try and find more.
It is convenient that he said that the people in his employ have been sent out of the city.
Assumedly to chase Marcus.
Marcus was a fool. He should never have taken the money from Gabriel.
Yes, I'm sensing that.
I would also add, Marcus is not a very good assassin.
Clearly not.
Seems
Kubalai.
like it's strange that he's taken on a contract to assassinate somebody without actually knowing who that person is.
And also to assassinate a supposed friend, an ally.
Marcus is the softness of the partnership. Kubalai was the steel.
Am I correct? And I'll turn to the rest of you while I say this. I was not the only person who heard that they were present at the assassination attempt. Marcus and Kublai.
Marcus was, Kublai wasn't.
Was it a different tabaxi then that was present?
The tabaxi that was present had grey fur, but it wasn't Kublai. Kublai is a panther tabaxi. The tabaxi that was present was a more cat. I know, I get that panther's a cat, but a more grey cat.
Yeah.
So yeah. So there may be a bit of confusion. So Kublai's panther and wasn't present. The tabaxi that was present was a grey furred, dressed like Ari tabaxi.
Yeah.
Okay.
With a blue sapphire scale dragonborn, a halfling, and the human known as Marcus.
But they were all present at that assassination. That
It was.
I heard that right,
It
guys.
was.
Yeah. I think, and no one was actually assassinated.
No,
Was
the dragon escaped.
And the coin that was used in this could make someone do absolutely... They were a big distraction. He's just arranged them as a massive distraction. The assassination attempt wasn't real.
Who is they?
Whoever's behind this, I'm going to assume, point to where Gabriel left, he's had something to do with it. It's pinning down the rest of it.
The Berimund the Minotaur stands.
I do have to leave. And you cannot stay here.
No, we will get out of your hair. When will you return? I'm assuming, since you're dressed for this, you're going to be often
I will be
killing
back.
something?
He sort of stands dead straight at the whole killing something.
Only if it needs killing. I will be back in the morning if you so wish. Do not come to this district again. I will come to you. Where are you staying?
Look over at Harry.
We're at the Black Dog Tavern.
As at the word bull is like, you are! You are!
I had to look at my notes, okay?
I am aware of the Black Dog. No, leave.
So you all leave?
Yep.
And
stay where we're not wanted.
When I hear one.
Yep.
As you leave, you guys potter out. Berimund follows you out. Speaks in Ravenholmian. I'll go with that. Speaks in the local dialect, and speaks to the two guards and essentially says, make sure they leave the district untouched. And then them two just nod, and the two female soldiers follow you out. They stay well back, like 60 feet, but they essentially stay all the way back as you guys are walking back down. Berimund goes off. He leaves the fort with you and turns right and heads towards a stables. Yep. And whatever creature's going to carry him, you have no idea because you do not see him on it. And you leave the district of the Cobra, and you're now back into the Loop district of the Wolf, the merchant district. The gates close behind you. As they close behind you, you step through that, you cross the line, as it were. You then feel that overwhelming presence of the Cobras bearing down on you. You only step a few feet away, and you realise that the illusion is no longer upon you. 3, 2, 1, you're in.
Some experience.
Yes, quite. Now what?
Don't trust him at all. Really don't. I don't like him at all.
Are you talking about Captain Berimund or Gabriel?
Berimund's fine. Gabriel.
Give me a perception check. Xandria and Ari, you're talking, so Dale, Finn, Griff and Kess, perception checks.
14.
14? Cool.
13.
13.
16.
16.
Go on, Kess.
So, Griff and Kess, Griff, you just see this. Across the road, down like the alleyway are some of the storehouses. You can see what appears to be a hunched over in a injured sort of way humanoid. They're holding their side. You can see that their armour is closely fit and leather with a strange greenish filigree of ivy across it. They have a curved longsword at their they have a curved longsword sheath at their hip, and they're holding a curved longsword, and they're sort of staggering against this building, and you can see the image of a hawk upon their helmet as they're leant across against the building, clearly trying to hide.
That's caught someone's attention. Griff is gonna pat two people next to him, which I'm guessing it's probably Delphin and Kess, because those two are chatting, and just to make sure they've seen, like.
Delphin, you can now Griff is obviously aiding in the point, and you see straight away and recognise the same person you saw down on the docks. And Zandri and Harry finished their sentence. Well.
Griff is going to start edging in that direction if it's an injured-looking person who is trying to defend themselves. So, edge. Anyone saying anything? Goodbye.
Kess will shrug off his cloak and just kind of like pop it over one arm and kind of follow on with Griff.
Cool. As you get closer, you see they look up. And they sort of try to raise their sword in front of them in a defensive position and try and stand straight, but whatever wound they're carrying, they're just overwhelmed by it. Griff gets about 20 feet from them, and obviously Kess, however close you are to Griff, you get from this humanoid person, and then they just crumple on the floor. Sword clatters.
Sprint over.
Cool.
Hand on, lay on hands.
So you sprint down the alley. You sprint down the alley of these two store buildings. It's kind of not off the beaten path, but out of view of the main street, unless someone actually came down the alley or was looking straight down it. The person on the floor is in armour, very nice armour. You can see the dark stain around the right side of the ribs, and blood has obviously flowed a lot. Their right leg is absolutely soaked. You lay on hands.
Mm-hmm.
How many points?
Oh, 1 second. I'll have to just check.
Yeah.
You get 5 points per level.
Like 10, if it looks really bad.
You can't see the wound, but you can see the aftermath of the wound, and they're drenched down one side. You heal. You sense the healing has taken hold. You obviously can't see the wound because of the armour. The wound was not caused through the armour, it appears. There is no hole in the armour. It looks as though they may have been wounded and then put the armour on. Yeah.
I'm going to put the cloak over them so that they look less obviously from the elven.
Cool.
Xandria's going to come up behind Kess, and upon seeing said person, just kind of bend down ever so slightly and just be like, looking them over. Ah, Samo.
There's no response.
No, because they're unconscious, but this was more of a,
Okay, yeah.
Samo. And then I'll look to the others and just, this is Lady Ikeeku's personal guard that has been missing.
Would I know the reputation of this guard?
As she says Samo, and obviously Lady, you've met, you know of a few Samos, but this one, and specifically linking it to Lady Ikeeku's bodyguard, you are aware that Samo is a very competent guard, warrior, etc. He has a very, very good reputation. I don't mean he's like the legendary swordmaster of old, but reputation is important in the Ver Dynasty, and Samo has a good one.
Captain Sataru was quite shocked to hear that Samo was not with his lady. So I'm kind of hoping that he can tell us what's happened to Lady Ikeeku.
We need to get him out of the street.
Griff, give me a medicine check as you were laying on your hands.
I was going to say, if I'd noticed the thing whilst I'm trying to find my pluses about the fact that the wound had not gone through the armour, I would have, probably because Xandria's closest, I would have like nudged Xandria and pointed at the armour. But I rolled a 12, so...
That's fine. So you just, you move the armour aside. You can see that the source was from his right flank. And you move his armour aside and you can see 2 puncture wounds, very deep, that seem to be fixing themselves quite rapidly. but as you move and you can see the clothing has been torn and ripped, you can see their skin is very pale, more so than you'd expect. And from your medicine check, when you pump in your lay of hands and you're not used to hearing the cry of the Thunderbird, you hear a very faint cry of the Thunderbird. And as you check a bit further, you realise that if you were to give them a level of exhaustion from 1 to 6, it would they're very, very exhausted. Like, you would feel that any longer and exhaustion would have claimed their life. They are right on the cusp of that until you laid on hands and saved them.
Jeez.
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be a lot of like that meme equations. Just thinking, and then prod Delphin if he's nearby. If he's not, then I'll literally say Delphin in Dandria's voice.
Stood basically behind Griff, also having equations basically going over the head
Yeah.
for a different reasoning. I'll just break out, look down at Griff. Right. Harry,
Mm-hmm.
are we able to store him at yours? At the dog?
Yeah, I've got a room there, so yeah.
Okay.
We should be okay.
I'm gonna prod again because I haven't said anything to you yet.
Message.
He is beyond exhausted.
We'll we'll get him to somewhere to rest. Can you look after him, Griff? Just make sure nothing else happens to him. Are you able to carry him? Oh, like over your shoulder? Like he was drunk?
I can help.
Okay. I'm gonna need somebody to be my eyes.
I'll do it.
I'll click my fingers and a little swallow is going to appear on my shoulder. Because I have Find Familiar, and I've just been holding this little shit back. He will take off up and around. I'll rest on whoever the first person is, and I'll share sensors, and I'm going to keep an eye out for guard patrols.
So you're blind and deaf, and you're going to take the shoulder of someone as they lead you through, and you're going to use.
I'm going to sort of sway and look like I'm drunk.
Yeah.
As though they're carrying a couple of drunkens back.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will take Delphin's arm and hoist like over my shoulder and grab a hold of the other side and like pretend to bear all of his weight like he's walking and just be like, okay, daytime drinking not a great idea, like pretending.
Okay, so all 5 of you give me deception checks.
Okay, yeah, Ari's gonna try and help as well, be like really loud.
Before we start parading through the street.
No.
Too late.
Oh, you want a break?
No.
All right, cool.
all I was gonna say is, does anyone have room in their bag for his helm?
Armor, sword.
The less that if a breeze catches and they see what we have here.
I could probably put it in my bag.
Griff would offer his bag as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Between the lot of us, we could split it.
Yeah.
He'll probably carry like one of the swords on his belt or something,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of thing.
As anyone goes to go touch those swords, I will literally just sort of go, it's a thing.
It's a single sword. He doesn't have the shorter one with it or anything. He has a single katana. But yes, Delphin is correct.
I'll stick it into my belt and go, it's a
Yeah.
thing. It's not that I don't trust people, but it'll look less weird on me as well.
Yeah.
Well, now that we've kind of stripped him of all like the obvious
So-
armor stuff, we'll just make sure it's tied on and then.
So as you take the helmet off, you can't see his eyes unless you want to pull up his eyelids.
Yeah.
But his hair is as black as oil. It is so well kept, despite the amount of sweat and grime that's in it now from whatever ordeal they've been through the last few days. Their skin is super pale because of their levels of exhaustion they've taken. But you can feel that they are similar to yourself, Kess, in that you are not a massive hulking warrior, but you are a exercised regular warrior, if you know what I mean. So yes, easily picked up between yous. Give me a deception check, all of you.
Yep. That is 17 and 2, 19 total.
I rolled
17
mine
total.
I rolled my earlier and rolled a 2, so that's 4.
Cool.
That's a nat 20 plus 6.
Jesus.
Ooh.
Nicely balancing out. This is great.
Good job. I was going to say mine was a 14.
Okay, so Delphin, what'd you get?
17.
Griff,
4.
Kesfield,
19.
Ari, I'm not even going to ask, and Zandria. Cool. Right, so as you begin your way back to the Black Dog, you are swaying and acting like a bit of a semi-drunken party with a couple of friends that have gone a little bit too far, and you are dragging them back. Delphin, with your swallow up in the air, they regularly, you can see that the patrols are not any heavier or busier or anything. If anything, one or two might be a bit more lax, and you see them heading towards the district of beasts, which you know to be the noble district of where people are.
Okay.
Your familiar does see what that stands out more than anything, a very, very large horned creature that looks a lot like Captain Berimund, riding some other four-legged mount that is covered in barding and all that, this like crimson barding across the creature, and it has horns at the front and antlers, big antlers like moose antlers, but it also has horns similar to a rhino off the front. And whatever it is, Berimund is riding it with some of these other patrols that have come out of the guard to the district of beasts.
And he's outside the Black.
Pitchfork and torches ready.
You get to the Black Dog successfully. You are all pretty convincing as a unit. If some of them paid more attention to you as individuals, one or two might not pass. But as Griff's like, I'm not drunk, this is all a lie, look at me.
I think Griff's more like, looking at the blood.
Just like scooping it up and pushing it back in.
Intestines!
Since you obviously, since you laid on hands, there's no flow, and with Kesfion's robe, you've managed to wrap them pretty well. Ari gets a few looks from the guards as you lot are walking through, and it's a case of, God, Ari again. But you make it to the Black Dog. You are, entering and going straight to Ari's room?
Yep.
Unless, the second we're in, I'll get sight back, but I'll still pretend to be drunk. Do you have anywhere that's quiet? Will not be interrupted, quiet.
By reputation, the rooms are considered private for the reputation of the tavern itself.
I mean more if a bunch of guards suddenly come in and demand to see you in your room, as opposed to maybe a cellar.
Not that you know of, Ari.
We've got multiple rooms, so they would have to try and find all of them.
Okay.
As you walk in, Lucan is behind the people who are dying in my garden.
Rude.
As you walk in, Lucan looks across to you from behind his desk to Ari. Immediately smiles, shakes his head with a laugh. Requiring privacy, are we, Ari?
Yes. We'll just go to our rooms. It's fine.
You can drop the charade. Take care. I will make sure nobody disturbs you. Please don't. It looks like you've already dealt with them. I'll give you until morning. You head up.
Much more sober. I appreciate it.
Lucan didn't even attempt to see through the lie, but got it immediately. Can you close that, yeah? Yes, we're just sorting out the riff-raff. So, I could go out and shout, getting your ball back, but I don't know if it'll work.
Get off my lawn.
So as you enter Ari's room, we will call a break. We'll take 10 minutes. So people watching, we're going to take 10 minutes. We're going to have a brew, empty bladders, etc. Yeah, we'll be back. So it's 25 to, so like I say, about 10 minutes. Make sure you stick around or go get a brew yourselves and come back. Thank you very much if you're watching, just joined us, etc. Stick around for the second half. We run for until about 11, so you got another hour and a bit. Thank you for maintaining viewing numbers. We like that. So yeah, take care of yourselves and we'll see you in 10 minutes-ish.
Just about.
Yeah.
Luke's ready. Kess.
We are back, children of Twitch.
Children of Twitch.
Children of Twitch.
Children of Twitch. So if
Okay,
you are still watching and have been, thank you very much. If you've just joined us after the break, thank you very much. Griff always drinks. You know, we're trying to get him off it, but he's loving it. That bottle's life size, actually a 4-foot bottle, because Kate's, you know.
For just £3 a month, you can sponsor Griff.
We sponsor Griff.
Stop drinking. Just £3 a month will help Griff get clean.
So just before the break, the gang had managed to speak to Captain Berimund. Maybe grass up Gabriel, sort of. They got introduced to Gabriel, a dark elf working for the Lord of the City and lords and ladies. They had a bit of a nice conversation, had a drink in Captain Berimund's office. They left. They then have seen Samo, the bodyguard of Lady Ikeeku, who they saw earlier on, heavily wounded, heavily exhausted, currently unconscious, and together they have managed to convince the passerbys and patrols that they were a drunken group taking their friend back to the Black Dog Tavern. Once in the tavern, Ari led them to his room that he has within the tavern. Lucan behind the desk was very nice and has given them till the morning for a bit of privacy, more as a favour that Ari is used to. But yes, it is very much that is where we are. So, thank you if you've just joined us and are going to watch for the rest of it. And you have questions in the chat, players, that you can deal with as we go. So, you are in Ari's room. It's quite a every room in here is pretty nice. They look after their guests. The further up the floors you go, they obviously get nicer and more VIP and stuff. But the room that Ari stays in is used for the majority of guests and is a let's say a very nice 3 stars rather than a standard. There is a double bed, a lot of jugs of water for reasons unknown, and there is a sofa to one side. There is a fire that is lit with an illusion but gives off the sound and feel of a fire. There is no chimney. It's just to add to the aesthetic of a nice room. 3, 2, 1, go.
Do you get dehydrated a lot in here, Ari?
Yeah, that's what it's for.
Griff will be shuffling Samo over to the bed. Sorry.
You
might get a bit of blood on the sheets.
You dump Samo nicely on the bed.
Gently.
And you hear a bit of a groan as he hits the bed, but at least you know that
You make it sound like we just like time.
I said nicely.
I said gently.
We laid him down. We didn't spike him.
It's theatre of the mind. People are allowed to imagine it how they wish. Gets beyond.
Seismic toss, move.
So you earthquake Samo into the ground.
This elf.
Jiminy crickets.
Samo is now comfortably placed on the bed. What do you do?
To no one and to everyone, I kind of just, as I'm looking at Samo, I just should probably find a way to go and tell Captain Sataru that I have found Samo, but I'm not quite sure how.
If only there was a way we could send a message. And, like, you know, kind of like look up at like Delphin and then like grab one of the jugs and like just start like cleaning some of the blood off, just like.
I'm gonna sort of pull a stool up to the side where Samo is, look over at Cass and go, I need to see the person in the line of sight.
That was my fault.
Basically, if I can go message them, but I'd need to basically get on the boat to message them, and by that point in time, I may as well talk.
What's the range of it?
Range is about 120 feet, but
yeah,
definitive line of sight can be blocked.
Yeah.
It's not sending, unfortunately.
So you are aware, Zandria, if Delphin drops its 120 feet, that from where that gap was between you and the boat, that is enough that if Dalefin was to stand there, he wouldn't have to cross, but he would obviously still have to be able to see.
Yeah, that's purely why I said, but I don't know how.
Cool.
Because I was infinitely aware that he would not be close enough or see the person.
You just get like carries on like.
Why don't you just go over and take a message over to them the old-fashioned way?
Because the minute I walk... Oh, we've got a video error. Why? Sorry, the stream just went with an error.
It's alright, man. Anyone else?
Don't know.
I don't have it up today, sorry.
It's fine.
It's just been me.
There's a lot of guards, Ari.
Yes. Given the fact that the last time I went, I have a feeling that if I go again, they might ask more questions that I can't really avoid this time.
Also,
I could bullshit my way through and say that Captain Berimund sent me, but if they then question Captain Berimund, it's not going to end well.
Also, the more people know about him, the worse. Sorry, Griff, you were saying.
No, it's all right. Whilst all this is happening, Griff is going to be trying to get bare essentials in Samu's direction. He might not be awake at the moment, but just have them there ready for when he is woken up. So like water, he might leave the room and order some food and come back, kind of thing.
As you get to the door, there is a knock on the door.
Looks at the others.
He just like puts the cloak back over again.
And he goes to the door like...
I'm at the door. I will open it.
Stood there is one of the girls that work behind the bar downstairs, and they have a tray, and there is bread, fruits, dried meats, dried fruits, a jug of water, a cup.
Because what we need in this room is more.
Courtesy of Lucan, he told me to send it up for room service for Ari, and just passes you the tray.
I'll like nod awkwardly and take it and be like, cool, yeah, great.
Puts the round out.
He'll
high five him.
He'll give a gold.
Oh.
Thank you. Puts the gold away, and she disappears off down the hall.
But yeah, takes the tray and puts it down somewhere, and it's like, yes.
Sustenance.
And then probably like literally stands like this, thinking like, is there anything else that I need to have ready? What should I do? Humpty hum.
I presume like obviously all his armor and everything's off, and like.
I thought his helmet was off and his swords, but you just wrapped him, or did you take all his armor off?
I think we said we took the armor off.
That's cool.
But I don't know how impossible or otherwise.
It wouldn't have been impossible. I just had it in my head that you just removed his helmet because his face would be on display rather than. But yeah, if you want to have.
Anything that...
So is he just down to clothing, yeah?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So as Samo's laid there, you hear a bit of a moan and a groan as you are talking about sending and such. And he sits bolt upright, then realises how much pain he's in. Despite the healing being done, it's almost like the memory of the pain puts him back down onto the bed. He looks around really quick, in a bit of a state. He starts reaching for, obviously, weapons that are not there. His hand comes up, and a weak, it's almost like, really...
Gravy time!
Thank you for the follow! The Nat 30 is beautiful. It looks like an orb of millions and millions of tiny pebbles start to form in his hand, like an orb, like he's about to launch it. It then fades as he then collapses against the bed. Lays eyes on Dalefin's sword. Do you carry your clan sash, Dalefin, on display?
I 100% do.
Cool. He just looks at you and he's like, Clan,
I will message and just go, greetings from Lady Ikeeku, my brother.
It is nothing. The sending doesn't get to him.
Interesting.
Goddamn Secret Service, mother kipper. Yeah.
As I start to go, wait, that didn't. Okay. I'll then speak. Question. They Elvish versus Elvish for the twins. Is it the same thing?
No.
Is it? Right.
If you speak Veer Elvish, they won't understand you.
Mhm.
But they will realise that you are speaking Veer Elvish, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then for the moment, just as a sort of a reassurance to him, I'll just go, greetings from Lady Ikeeku, my brother.
He looks, spots his sash. Clanakuna. He says this in Veer Elvish. We'll just assume it's in Veer Elvish till we say otherwise, because I don't want to say Veer Elvish every 5 seconds.
Veer Elvish.
It's in Velvish. It's in Velvish.
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 Velvet.
Patsio. So.
Velvet cake.
Clanakuma to a degree. But yes,
Where?
Clanakuma.
And he's looking around and he sort of settles a tiny bit and he carries on. Where is Lady Ikeeku?
We were hoping you could help us with that. We found you wandering, basically exhausted, wounded. My party here has assisted you as best we can, but we need some level of answers.
He struggles and manages to sit himself like upright. Carry on.
They are trustworthy people, to an extent. I have no issue with them hearing what we're saying, but if you would prefer it in this tongue, we will keep it this way.
Why? And he looks at your hair, and he can see that it's obviously a bit unkept compared to himself and what he's used to seeing. And he looks at you and he narrows his eyes a little bit. What? Not now. You know he's staring at your hair. Not now. I will speak common if it is what's needed.
If it needs to change, merely indicate. And then I will change to common.
Looking at the others.
Apologies for that.
What is happening? What are these words?
Do you have the strength?
Will kind of help him make sure he's sitting upright and not like.
Look, he's doesn't move away, but obviously as Kess is moving him up, he's in a state like you feel that he's almost slumped into your arms, like there's no strength in him at all.
Yeah.
I will also put his katana back with him.
He doesn't reach for it just yet. Wherever you lay it, he remains laid there. And he, with the help of Kesvion, puts himself back upright. Griff, you are fully aware after, with your inspection and your laying hands and medicine check that the levels of exhaustion that Samo is experiencing is he's still teetering on the edge, and will need a lot of rest. I am Samo of Clan Natsu from the Veer Dynasty. Personal guard to Lady Ikeeku. My thanks for saving my life. And he nods at every one of you. In a bit of a weird attempt to try and get lower, but it hurts and repeats it 5 times. Except to Dalefin, who you all noticeably notice he bows the least to, but still bows. You 4 get lower, Dalefin gets less so.
Here it comes.
Captain Sataru is quite shocked to hear that you were not with Lady Ikeeku.
The captain, is he still alive? Is the boat, are they all safe?
They're fine, they're under house arrest.
Why? What? Where is Lady Ikeeku? I need to find her. And he sort of struggles to get off the bed, but Dad's got nothing in him.
Like, Cass is just like, no, you stay.
Griff is gonna say in Celia's voice, be careful. Because that's no other way of saying it, unfortunately.
Looks at Griff. Fireball. Demon child.
Demon child, demon child.
What is the last thing that you remember, Samo?
I remember everything. Just there was a dragon attacked the ball. I tried to fight it. The lady ran. I was arrested in the dungeons. There was a human and a sapphire dragonborn. The human was Marcus. The dragonborn was
Curdle, I think his name was. Well, her name or their name, I can't remember. But yes, they were under arrest and they somehow got out. I tried to follow them. I escaped myself using my skills. And he looks at Daelfin. I am adept at moving through the earth, the stone. I then went looking for Lady Ikeeku. I could not find her. Some of Berimund's larger guards cornered me and attacked. And he sort of like holds his side and then feels that the wound has gone. He's looking around you lot. My thanks. Has no idea I wheeled him, but then I tried to find the one called Marcus. He had a tabaxi friend, Tales of Wonder, he called himself. They had a halfling called Oriana. They spoke with Lady Ikeeku, and she wanted their help. He's looking around, but keeps going back to Daelfin to acknowledge that he's giving up more. Like he keeps almost looking for Daelfin's nod of approval to keep going on as he's speaking. But they left the city and I needed to hide. I couldn't get near the ship. I had no idea if they were still on the ship. I tried a day or two ago, but I had to leave. There's too many guards. I didn't know if the boat was empty of life or ready to go on. And
we saw you at the boat, or at least attempting to get close.
My skills in the shadows are not as good as others, or hiding my nature. And he looks at Daelfin.
I will just stony face it.
Cool. And then I went looking for help, but was scared to approach anyone in the market square. The next thing I saw was your Raven Crow friend here approaching, and it went dark.
Did you simply escort Lady Ikeeku to the Blood Ball? Was that all you were there for?
As is my job, yes.
Were you aware of any other motives for being at the ball?
What do you mean?
Captain Sataru told me that Lady Ikeeku was not only there to attend the ball, but also to retrieve something that he says belongs to the Vey dynasty.
Yeah, Samo looks very confused. Give me an insight check with advantage, so he's in a wrecked state.
Wrecked state? Oh boy. Oh, am I glad for fucking advantage? Jesus. Insight is +2, 20, dirty 20.
Lovely. So as you're saying that, you 100% can see that Samo's face is reading like bare naked. There's no hidden thing. He looks incredibly confused at your line of question. He's just shaking his head. I don't know of what you speak.
So the tears of back to this page.
Yeah.
Where have I gone? They're somewhere in this paragraph. Tears of yeah.
Never heard of it.
Those
Want to try that again in Elvish?
Yeah, I want to try that again, maybe in common or not. Where is it? It's in this. Lady Oh, there we go. Tear of Elman Balef. That's the word. Yeah. So the tears of Elman Balef mean anything to you?
Never heard of him.
Quite interesting then that Captain Sataru would say that they belong to the Vey dynasty, and yet someone of the Vey dynasty does not know anything about them.
Would it make more sense if the word was tear?
I look at Daelfin like...
I've heard of artifacts that belonging to the ancient creature such as Elman Belef, but I know not of their detail. Tear or Tear. Tear would resonate more, but unfortunately that line of history is not my forte.
You said a dragon attacks the ball. Do you mean a dragonborn?
No, a dragon, a gargantuan beast of sapphire scales and breath of lightning.
Dragons don't exist.
So you would...
I can't take any of us seriously when we say that. We're literally playing Dungeons and what, dogs?
Dungeons and Dragonborn, not dragons.
Dungeons
Don't make me
That
contact
thing.
wizards and just call it dungeons, right?
Dungeons.
Oh yeah, you would speak correct. And he gestures towards you. You are...
Hello.
Pleased to meet you, Harry. Yeah, you speak true. Dragons do not exist until that night. I would swear my own life that they did not exist. But what I saw was nothing else could have described it. It took up the whole, this beast. I did not finish. I do not know how the battle ended. I would assume the Lord and Lady survived as news would spread faster. But I don't know what happened to the dragon. I was quickly grabbed and thrown with this Marcus and Curdle.
I'm gonna say in Berimund's voice, the dragon escaped.
Looks at Griff. Escaped. I saw no such thing take to the skies.
Shrug.
He looks super confused.
I looked at Dalefin. Dalefin, is there potentially a spell that could make such a creature appear real and in front of everyone?
Illusion magic is definitely likely, but usually they're intangible. They can be seen through, they can be perceived past. If one has actually been fought, every chance there was a dragon there.
Griff, give me a history check.
Sorry, 2 seconds. 15.
15.
Yeah.
Back in Chukroane, it is a great honour to receive the magics of the behemoths upon you in a ritual that allows you to be polymorphed into a representation of that behemoth.
Okay.
And obviously it rings a little bell when Dalefin says, or Xandria asks if you can be changed.
I find it very strange if such a creature were to appear, but then not, as Samo says, takes to the sky. Something is very clearly not adding up to an actual dragon.
I mean,
It was...
I've never seen one. I couldn't tell you if that's true or accurate. They may have the ability to pass through stone. They could have the ability to turn to mist. There could be any different type of them.
I suppose that is true.
It was enormous. They cannot hide such a beast. Speak with Berimund, he will confirm.
Something to keep in mind to ask him in a few days' time. Well, tomorrow.
We need to get you out of there before Berimund comes.
You have,
Kez is like,
there's a slight bit of anger and fear in his eyes, and he's like, you bring Berimund here?
No,
Well, we
Berimund
did-
is coming of his own volition.
we didn't have a you and we had a Berimund.
Also that.
You will need to hide me before.
Yeah, we'll put you somewhere else. Shit.
Let us speak relatively plainly before we do that. As far as we know, Lady Ikeeku is missing. She is currently suspected for crimes against this particular city, including the theft of the tears of Beleth.
You hear the...
Berimund has... Sorry.
I was going to say the word theft and his lady in the same sentence. Very much similar to your reaction.
Yeah, I give him the same look. I have offered my services personally to try and disprove this state of affairs, which is why he will be coming over on the morrow, because we are currently part of working under his investigation.
You have bound
There is
yourself.
no, and you own. I have sought to.
He looks confused at the fact that you said you promised to help.
He brought Lady Ikeeku's honor into question, and I wasn't going to sit and let that happen.
He looks incredibly confused at Dalefin's sentence.
I am watching tennis.
This might be a bad way of doing things, but in Berimund's voice, I'm trying to really accentuate that it is Berimund by doing this, or whatever, like horns. He's going to say, the fight was started by Lady Ikeeku. Find out where Lady Ikeeku is.
Looking at Griff with just, as everyone does, with sheer like, holy shit. Lady Ikeeku started no fire. It was the grey cat Tabaxi, the one Tales of Wonder. I tried to track him, but his ability among the shadows far superior to mine.
So they started the fire. Interesting.
They then left the city. I could not follow, not without Lady Ikeeku. Would you say she's no longer in the city, or is she still in the city?
We don't know, Samo. We don't know where she is. We don't know what state she's in. We were really hoping that you had an answer, but very clearly
If
you don't.
she is alive, and he looks at Dalefin as he says this, the city will know if they try to take Ikeeku.
A quick question, Samo. Captain Sataru, his crew and the ship, are they the crew and ship that yourself and Lady Ikeeku use frequently? Or is this their first? It is their frequent.
We use them. It is Ikeeku's personal ship. And he's trying to get himself comfortable on the bed, but just failing miserably. Sataru is a cousin to Lady Ikeeku.
So their loyalty to Lady Ikeeku would not be questionable.
He, as best he can, sits up, bolt upright. No loyalty to Ikeeku is questioned.
I'm merely just crossing out potential situations.
She is Summer's Wrath.
Yes, somebody who I feel I would get along with quite well.
That gets a little bit of like a smile from Ken, like, oh, there's two of them.
And one of them's in charge.
And then there's Ikeeku.
Yes.
Samo?
Yes.
Have you encountered a drow by the name of Gabriel?
The Dark Elf.
Or has Lady Ikeeku been speaking with him at all recently?
Gabriel is known to many. He's a face for Lord Astaroth. We have dealt with him a lot. He sometimes brings the invitations personally to the Land of Fae and the Dynasty. Last year it was Lady Ikeeku, the sister, your clan head. And he looks at you to see if there's any response when he says your clan head, and he says it in a matter of fact sort of way.
Do you want me to roll deception?
He's aware that you're hiding. There's no deception to him because
he knows.
He's aware.
Then 100%.
It's the other like four big eyes like.
Yeah. Samo is aware that you are in a different situation than what he expected. Merely by one's hair, who knew?
Odd that.
Yeah, so, yeah, we are, I know Gabriel. He is has been a fine drinking partner and an enemy all in the same night. Why?
It's not surprising.
It's
gravy time.
Magical coin. Yeah. His magical coin was found at the scene of the fire that Lady Ikeeku is being accused of starting.
It does not surprise me. He often uses types beneath him to carry out deeds that he cannot himself.
But there was no conversation specifically involving the recovery of anything between the two of them. Not that I would ever accuse Lady Ikeeku, but Gabriel, in a heartbeat, I would accuse.
Are you saying Gabriel spoke to Ikeeku of stealing the item?
I don't know. You were Lady Ikeeku's guardian. You'd have been there for more conversations than I ever would. Have you seen anything?
He's finding it hard to say the next few words.
She would not steal.
I believe that, but he would. Perhaps he approached her with something, whether she turned it down or not.
No. Insight check Dale Thin only.
18.
There's something off about him saying no. Like it's not directly a no to your question, but if you can hear a baby crying, I do apologise.
Lucy wants attention.
She is going mental, bless her. Sorry, fans, that's my little girl. She's won in a couple of weeks. Yay! So, yeah, so the direct question of that, thank you very much, Nat30th. You get the feeling that they don't, that he's not saying no to that, but he's struggling with something around Gabriel and Ikeeku that is causing him to, he's in a difficult situation. He's trying to tell the truth, but you can see there's more behind it.
I will sit down on the bed, just look at him for a moment, look down at the katana, look back at his hands, look at him. If there is anything you can say that will help potentially save your lady's life, please volunteer it.
Give me a persuasion check. With,
Otherwise, we're
with disadvantage, Delphin, because it's you.
Otherwise, we're going to set Xandria onto you, and you don't want that.
With disadvantage, that's a 15.
Cool. He looks at his katana that he still hasn't reached for. He looks back at you.
They were lovers.
Sandria flips a table.
I mean, were we not getting the vibe that there was no one that Gabriel wasn't? Like, he had big Ari vibes. Let's sleazier.
I am shook.
I'm shooketh.
Delphin, it is for Samo to not openly say it and for you to bring it out of him through, you know, lovely persuasion. It's not something he's proud of his lady doing. No pun intended.
I wonder why.
Oh my god.
Thank you. And on, I will say the words, my honour, and just brace for the look.
Which you get straight in the eyes, mate.
On my honour, what you have said here today stays with us.
I thank you. I am beyond tired. Exhausted, some might say.
Beyond exhausted, maybe.
Beyond exhausted, close to death, as the moon shines upon my soul. So yes, I may need a rest. Yeah.
I would wager that the odds of you getting rest are going to be quite low if you stay here. So what we're going to probably need to do is find a way of getting you onto that ship.
If we possibly move him to one of the other rooms for the night, because it seems that the captain knows Ari, and I believe there's only so long.
You don't know me.
Well,
He
you
is off
seemed
me,
worried
but-
about how he was perceiving you, so I just presumed that there was something.
I'm more worried about
know.
Gabriel and the captain, but you know, might not be the safest place to stay, but it's also Lucan has assured me privacy, so
Well,
I'm not
Lucan's
worried about the
assured you-
captain. I'm worried about Gabriel.
So we move him out of this room. Hopefully Gabriel doesn't decide to torch the rest of the block, and we try and shift him in the morning. It's just he's in no position to be.
I agree. The problem we've got is we called Gabriel out in front of some people. The easiest revenge he could get is to look at us harboring a fugitive and call us out.
You hear from.
So if we have somewhere that's...
No, sorry, girlfriend.
No, please. I was just going to say if we had somewhere more secure than a hotel room, effectively.
I wasn't going to suggest somewhere secure, but I was going to say Gabriel is aware that we are staying at the Black Dog, I assume. So how about we move Samo to the Sawdust and Swearwords?
Across districts. Yay!
Is he not the kind of person who might have other eyes?
It's risky moving him across the strip.
He might have other eyes, but he can't see everywhere, I'm assuming.
Unless we split up.
I was thinking splitting up, and then I looked at Ari. I assume there is a network of sewers that you would potentially know like the back of your hand. And I just grin at Ari.
Ari, you do not know the sewers. It is a place that Ari is not going to step foot in. Never mind learn its ways. As an FYI.
But I presume he might know a way around the district because he knew a
Definitely.
way into the other section.
You would definitely give yourselves. Ari would definitely be able to give you an advantage in getting across districts.
Not through the sewers.
Not through the sewers.
Does Ari actually just say not through the sewers?
Yeah, Ari's kind of like, sewers? Really?
Oh yes, sorry, you're incredibly fancy and up yourself. However could I forget?
I mean,
at this point, like, Kess will just look between the two of them and then look at Samo and then just look between the two of them again, just be like, see this?
Flirting!
This is what we're working with. I'm sorry.
Samo's just whatever. He's not got any energy. Dalefin. Did you give him your name? I don't believe you did you?
Nope.
Cool.
Nope, I did not.
Hence the slow put down.
So, yeah. I'm just gonna guess you're called Dale. I've introduced.
Considering the history, it wouldn't be that hard to guess, actually.
I've introduced myself. May I know my saviour's names? And he looks at Griff first.
Griff, and I'm gonna put like a hand to my heart and like do like a slight little bow thing. Don't know why, he just wants to.
Who does it? And you looks to the green-haired warrior, Cassian.
Caspian.
Thank you. as you seem to keep holding me upright, I thought it best to know your name. And the two talkative types and looks at Harry and Zandria. And you are...
I've been called talkative before, that's a new one. My name is Zandria Summerbreeze.
He perks up at Summerbreeze. A fine name, a fine name. And you? To Harry.
I'm Harry.
Short for anything? No.
We all back out to the room.
And you?
Thanks, Cat.
And you? He looks at Dale.
I am Dalefin of Clanakuma. I say with no irony in my voice.
Oh. Thank you again for saving my life.
Well, I did promise your captain that I would find you and your lady and return you safely, so just upholding my end of a bargain.
And the healing, in all honesty, wasn't us for
No, that would be
point at Griff.
Who is probably holding a glass of water to go and give to him.
Just like running like
Not
You have my thanks, Griff. It is an honour.
Half of it's down his front now, yeah.
He'll kind of like nod again. He's very awkward about it, but
Samo will take the water.
Yeah, he's bird smiling.
So, are you planning on carrying me across town?
I mean, that
Sounds
was
like
just
it.
my plan. It's whether or not everyone else agrees that it is a good motion, or if anyone else has anything better to suggest.
If I am no good to you in a fight, if you are apprehended during the walk.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about that bit.
He looks at you, just nods.
Harry, how secure is this room? Is there literally nobody is good to go in without your say so, even if the captain of the guard wandered in?
So, Harry, give me a history check. History check from Harry.
History? Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
No history.
Oh no, actually we're alright with history apparently.
Yeah.
Not so much when we roll a
Intelligence
7,
roll
but you
useful,
know,
okay.
10
Oh,
altogether.
Cool. So, what you remember about the Black Dog Tavern, right, on your 10, is Lucan is an ex-mercenary for a group that used to call themselves the Ward Bearers. Yeah. They set up shop in Ebendorf and they built or created, or however they got the Black Dog Tavern there. Lucan and his mercenary unit, the Ward Bearers, were responsible for the Black Dog Tavern coming to Ebendorf. There are several of the remaining folk of the Ward Bearers that reside in the Black Dog Tavern that you've seen walking about already, and that you've maybe met or seen from afar, but Lucan's the one you've talked to the most. As for anything past that, you can't really remember much, unfortunately.
Lucan's pretty reliable. I don't know whether it's safer to leave him here and kind of make ourselves present in the bar. Like maybe leave him here with somebody to look after him and make it obvious that we're in the bar. And then maybe we'll know when we'll check the room. I don't know whether that's going to be safer than trying to get across the city.
If we have... No, sorry.
If you think that is a safer and wiser idea, you know this city and the residents better than any of us do.
I can normally get myself across certain borders without being noticed. but I can't guarantee a party of people will be able to do the same, especially for one that's as injured as our friend is here.
My apologies.
It's not your fault, but I just want to make sure you're safe.
Then perhaps it's best we carry out your plan.
Griff has been like nodding along to what Ari's been saying.
This is the room you usually hire, yes? Would it be worth us moving into one of the other rooms? Just in case someone isn't quite as trustworthy as looking us?
It could be. However, I'm fairly confident Luke can give me the privacy that I require. But I don't know if that would stop him, necessarily stopping the guard from coming in if they really had to.
How about this? We rent out another room. That way, if there is any sort of reverse scrying, so to speak, because we've already pulled that trick on him once, he's likely to do it on us. It's not got our names, not got anything else attached to it, and as far as we're concerned, Samo here is just another resident of the tavern. That way he's on the books, he's fully covered. It's not something that someone can look at and go, this person was in this person's room.
And I suppose it's not really a wide knowledge that Samo is being looked for.
What name?
So there's no reason for... We could just put him under his own name. There's no reason for Lucan or any of the staff to look at his name and go, you're the person everyone's looking for.
But names have a level of power.
Okay.
Especially names of the Vey Elves. We should probably put him under a complete alias.
Is there anything you would prefer, Samo?
What for? Deceiving them?
A name that would allow you to be more covert.
Jaitun is my cousin.
That'll do.
Okay. Ari, could you set that up with Lucan then? And then we can move Samo into that room.
So,
I will pass the last of my gold over to Ari towards the fee for it. It's about 6 gold pieces, but it's something.
Cool. So, Ari, you got the 6 gold. Are you leaving the room? Cool. You head downstairs. At the desk is Alexander, the large Savai orc, grey skin, his hair's down, he's in his very nice robes. Not his armour's nowhere to be seen, nor is a weapon. He seems to be in casual clothing. And Alexander is stood talking to Lucan. As you approach, he very politely steps aside and says, my conversation is not important. How about you? And steps aside. But he doesn't leave the desk. He's still within earshot. Hello, Larry. How are we doing?
Hello, Lucan.
The room okay? Is it doing its job?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Did you get the room service I sent up?
Yes, thank you. That was much appreciated. Thank you.
Looked like you needed a couple of the basic essentials. I have a feeling for these things.
You're very perceptive.
So how can I help?
I'm just wondering if we could just get another room sorted out.
Another room? What for?
Just for another one of my friends.
You have more friends coming? Well, aren't you the busy bee? He has a look. There are no spare rooms, but looks at Alexander. Alexander here has spare room. A spare room in his room. Oh, what a terrible sentence. Alexander looks. I could share if you need to. I snore though.
Oh, we should be okay. Like, I think we have. If there's no spare rooms, that's okay.
Lucan chirps up. It's this damn blood ball filling up all the rooms. No offence, Alexander. None taken.
no, that's fine. I'm grateful to have my room to myself. That's great. Thank you.
Okay. Give me a give me a deception check.
God.
It's fine. It's one of your highest skills, right?
Except when I roll terrible.
You just said that. Those are words you
Yeah,
used.
you just said that. You just said that. Why did you say that? That's a 12.
Yeah, but you
12?
have like a +6 to it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that with the plus?
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. I was like, wait, that's like 18. That's fine. Oh.
Oh.
So as you say, no, it's fine. Do you start heading back?
Yeah.
Cool. You start heading back. Alexander catches up with you. Harry, is everything okay?
Everything's fine.
I don't mean to be forwards, and my apologies if I am, but I don't believe you.
You've been rumbled.
Where?
By the big orc man.
Where are your friends? Are they fine? Is everybody okay?
Are they starting another bar fight?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Everyone's okay. We can handle it.
I'm in room 53. Whatever you do, do not go to 54. Victoria is staying there. But if I can offer my services to you, I will.
That's where you would find a great time.
No,
it will be a short time.
Alexandria, go to moving forward. Bye. See you soon.
See you never.
Assassination techniques among friends.
Alexandria comes back 2 foot shorter.
Harry nods at
Either that or they would make pals, and that is arguably scarier.
No.
It's like that picture of Armstrong and what's his face from Full Metal Alchemist, where they're just like, and then there's the handshake and the little sparkle.
It's the Star Wars meme. It's, oh great, now there are 2 of them.
Yeah. So,
exactly.
Ari, you go back up.
Yep.
You enter the room, and Samo is resting against it. While Ari's been away, he says to Daelfin in Vale Elvish, why are you helping me?
I'm going to give him a genuine look of confusion. Why would I not?
You removed your honor.
And he signals to your hair.
I did that to protect my clan. I do this to protect other clans.
You cannot protect your clan if your blade is not at their side.
I can protect my clan as long as there are not claws at their throat.
Well, Clan Akuma, there are always claws at your throat.
Not like this.
Daelfin, you can see sat next to Samo, a version of yourself crying into your hands, and your hands are dripping crimson. And then it goes.
I will just repeat, not like this.
And then it disappears. He passes you for the first time his katana, gives it to you.
Regain your honor.
And then he just sort of lays back down into the bed. May I sleep, he says in common to you all.
It might be best to wait until we can get the room to rest you in. We don't want you resting and then having to disturb you to move you elsewhere.
Okay.
I'm sure Ari will be back any moment.
He lays his head on the pillow. He's like, okay, I will just blink for a long time. Harry?
That is the most sad thing I have ever
You'll just blink.
Just resting my
Eyes.
eyes. I'm not asleep.
But you're asleep. What did they just see on the TV? I don't know.
I may have taken my inspiration from real life experiences.
I can tell.
Harry, you return.
And kind of closes the door behind him, make sure it's closed. So, bad news. There's no spare rooms.
I mean, part of me is not shocked given the current situation and the Blood Bowl. Okay.
However, Alexander seems to know that something's not right. Remember that big orc dude?
The one with the sister.
The one with the sister. I've been told under no circumstances to go to room 54 because that's where she is. Apparently he's in room 53 and is happy to share with me. A little concerned about that, not gonna lie. So yeah.
Okay. So we have outside help in the form of Alexander, willing to share his room with you, thus leaving your room free. The other option is we put him in either Kesvion or my room, and we will share. It wouldn't seem suspicious if we shared. We're siblings.
Doesn't seem suspicious if I share with anyone else, to be fair. Not that I'm volunteering.
Or the
I don't know,
option
it's-
is we do both and give them twice as many places to try and possibly.
Samo sort of puts himself, he's like, I mean no disrespect, but can you please choose? He's like half hanging out the bed, like looking towards Griff. Like
I just push him back in the bed, not quite as gently, just kind of like a.
I think if we move into one of your rooms, if you're okay with that, just as you two, and then it's not an obvious target. Whereas I'm known to Gabriel, and Griff's known to Gabriel. Obviously, we're all kind of known to Gabriel, but
I would suggest maybe my room rather than Kessa's room. I think he got the feeling that Kess was not quite comfortable and might look there, whereas he might not look so much in my room.
Also, we'll hear him coming.
That too.
Is it worth leaving the armor here? Let them think that this is where we dropped him and then he's left?
No,
could do.
hide it. We don't want to. At no point do we want to seem like we've had any involvement in this at all. We want to try and keep our cards as close to our chest until the point we can't. If we leave this here as a diversion, it's not gonna. It still means that we found it.
Okay.
I feel like going into the bar and creating a distraction, and then very obviously me going back up to my room might be the best way to do it. But I won't.
It's not going to take all of us to move him, so.
No.
You go down, make friends. Griff, grab him some drinks, and we'll meet you down there in a bit.
Do we want to leave somebody with him?
I don't mind staying.
Griff's like awkwardly shuffling his feet about the fact he can't help in that sense. Very much kind of like looking at his shield like
You make friends well down in the bar.
Yes.
It'll keep some of the notice off the rest of us.
Harry throws an arm around him. Come on, Griff, let's go play some more games. You're good at them.
Cool.
I just I grab a hold of Kessa's arm and I pull him close, and in Sylvan, I whisper to him, if anyone asks where I am, just say I have taken ill.
You'll kind of give a sharp nod.
Cool. So, Griff and Ari going down to the bar. Kess, what were you doing?
I am going to help move Samo.
To where are you moving Samo to?
We're moving
Samo is
someone.
getting moved into Zandria's.
Zandria's room. Zandria's staying in this room.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
No, Zandria's.
No, Zandria's going with. I'm going with Samo.
All right.
Gonna
So
stay with Samo, but
okay.
she's gonna. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're gonna move Samo to Zandria's room, and then Zandria and Samo will be in that room. What's Kess then doing?
Kess, I believe, then is going back down to the bar.
To the bar. Dale, Finn, what are you doing?
I say I'll catch up. I'm going to go to my room for a bit. And just... There will be some time of me not being present because of things and conversations that have occurred. And also the fact that I'm looking over this katana, trying to work out what exactly he wants me to do, other than, you know... Yeah.
I'd say
Also-
cut off your hair, but you've already done that, so you can't Mulan
I was
it.
about to say, you can't grow your hair with a katana.
Oh no, it might be some weird elf magic. I
So,
don't know your life.
so
I
Kess,
am going to detect magic on this, though.
cool. Kesfion,
Yeah.
you and easily hoist
Yeah.
Samo up. Zandria, you bring in his armor.
Mhm.
Cool. So Kesfion, Zandria, you move Samo, who's in and out of consciousness. As soon as you pick him up, he's taking it as a sign of, yay, I'm going to
Gravy
bed.
time.
It's
Yeah,
gravy
it's gravy
time.
time.
Yeah.
Not bedtime, guys. It's gravy time.
Thank you very much, Elmer Bionics. Did I catch up before it went off? Thank you for the follow. Kesfion, Zandria, you take Samo to Zandria's room and lay him nicely on the bed, and his armour wherever in the room. Ari and Griff, you go downstairs. It's a pretty, not heavy night, but there's a fair amount of people in there having a laugh. They're same with the dice games and stuff going on, and mainly the halflings and the gnomes are, you know, full out, tartan on show. They're having a good time. Victoria and Alexander are there with a few of their orcish brethren, and the two younger orcs that were clearly their squires that you may have saw earlier are with them. None of them are in any of their armour, whereas before you'd see them in at least some lighter versions of their armour. They seem to be on full casual mode. The Viconians are drinking with the halflings, but not anywhere near the Savai orcs. There is the Dragonborn, the Legatus that you met before. Why? I cannot remember his name off the top.
I can. It is Legatus. Wait, it's in this one.
Brilliant.
Legatus
Brilliant.
Decius Viridius Proceius.
It is indeed.
General of the armies of the north. I mean.
Yeah, so you see the Ebon Dragonborn sat without his or their surrounding entourage. The only one that's sat with them is the massive red-scaled lizard folk that has a single piece of bone carved into a great axe at their side, and they are sat drinking. This lizard folk is massive, but not as tall as Berimund, but of a similar stature of hulking, powerful size.
Absolute unit.
Yeah. In the bar, drinking, Griff and Ari, you see, having a jolly old time, mingling with the orcs, the Viconians, the halflings, is Gabriel, a lovely dark elf that you saw not so long ago.
Our best friend.
So, Delphin, we'll go to you in your room. You are in your room. You are checking out. 2 seconds while I jump off and come back. I'm totally here. You can't see me on camera. I'm doing magic tricks. It's fine.
Turn into a chair.
Vanished.
He's a mimic.
Oh my god, he's a chair.
Oh my god.
The chair.
Gabriel, what did you do?
Oh my god, the chair.
Yeah.
How many arms does it have? How many legs does it have?
So
What
about-
kind of
Definitely my
shape is
fan
it?
now.
So,
I got that reference.
yes, Captain America. So, you've got the katana in your hand. Do you unsheath it?
I'm going to detect magic on it first.
Ping, 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 ping. It is definitely magical. With abjuration magic and evocation magic.
Okay. Yeah, go on. Let's unsheath it a little bit.
For
Not
the
all the way.
first time that you can remember, you are at peace and completely zen as soon as that blade shines from that sheath. There is no echoes around you, shadows calling your name from the corner. It is as if you have come out of a pool of water and are just lying at the side. It is such a peaceful sensation, feeling that you are now over. Whatever this blade is or is doing, you are bubbled in zen.
I instantaneously close it off.
It's gravy time.
Gravy time!
It's gravy time.
Thank you, Froggy Law. So you say you resheath it?
Yeah.
As soon as it connects again and is resheathed, you are immediately brought back to the present of the echoes and shadows, etc.
I'm going to check every corner of my room, under the bed, which ways out of this room there are. I'm going to basically, for the fact that I have not been on edge for a moment, it's going to come back double, and I'm going to just check the room.
Similar when you first started down this path and these things entered your life, you check under your bed, in the shadows, wherever you can possibly think that something or someone may hide, and you always get that feeling that they are there, sat on your shoulder, sat on both shoulders, swinging on the chandelier, beneath the bed, laid next to you, in the wardrobe. You're just tapping on the window from the outside. It's nothing you see, nothing you hear. It's just when someone says it's so quiet you can hear it, that's the sort of feeling you get, and has been with you for as long as you can remember. But the same thing over and over again, you find nothing.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Not here. It's fine. I'm going to look to my little bug out bag, consider it for a few seconds, stick the katana into my belt, leave, head downstairs.
Cool.
Leave the bag where it is.
Cool. Xandri and Kestrion, as you are putting Samo down, he's trying to sort of snuggling into the pillow to try and make himself comfortable, and in a very in and out sort of state, he just sort of one eye looks at you two and he's like, "You are not truly siblings, or am I mistake?" And he goes out cold.
I just look at Kess.
Hess just rolls his eyes and like pats the elf on like the forehead and like blank out, just shh.
He's out. He's completely out.
Go to sleep.
It's interesting that he picked up that we're not truly siblings.
In all the ways that count.
He didn't. There was nothing about his. It wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he said it.
Yeah.
No, it's good enough.
Ari and Griff, you are in the bar. Again, it is a jolly sight. You see Gabriel, who looks across from like way across the bar, and just raises his drink. He's so far away that if he spoke, you wouldn't be able to hear him. But he just raises his drink with a big smile on his face. He's changed his clothes. He's now in some sort of pearl-coloured silk shirt, and he's just prancing around with his jolly old Viconians and Savai and the halflings from the Highlands of Tower, a few of the local Ebendorfians. I should totally do a fitness video with Ebendorfians. And yeah, you are Yeah, you're in the bar. It's quite a jolly time. It's not rammed, it's just really jolly. Music's playing.
People are swaying.
People are swaying. Everyone's getting down tonight. It's pretty good.
I think catching that Gabriel's there is going to be like a crap. I don't like this.
I just came here to have a good time.
I feel so attacked, and you haven't even done anything. You might have, you know.
Your existence is attacking.
If there's music playing,
There is.
Griff's gonna be awkward for like the second of noticing Gabriel, and then just kind of like shake it off and be like, "No, just have to deal." I'm gonna grab Ari and try and like drag to the dance floor. If there is a dance floor, if there's not, I'm making a dance floor.
There is definitely an area where a few of the halflings.
Remember what happened last time you tried to dance,
are
right?
getting down. So Griff and Ari, give me performance checks.
Oh no!
But it has fun.
Come on.
18.
7 bird.
Still got it. What'd you get?
That 20?
Turns out Ari's learnt a few things in the last couple of days.
Yeah.
So, as Griff and Ari, you get into the dancing area where a few of them are bopping away. Griff goes into the old, finger gun straight away again. And everyone's like, yeah, Griff's pulling out the moves. And you see Ari doing the, Griff looks at Ari and there's a little bit of like, fucking hell, here we go. And Ari just starts moonwalking. Like,
yeah,
it's just ridiculous. A kick comes out. You're like, what is going on here? And Ari is busting some moves.
Oh boy.
Delphin, after your moment thingy, you come down. You see Griff and Ari completely. They are indeed doing the birdie song. You come down, and Griff and Ari are, getting jiggy with it.
Will Smith the bird strikes again. I'll come down into.
You see Gabriel across the way drinking with a couple of the halflings. He raises his glass to you as you walk in.
I will offer a slight bow, and I will beeline straight towards the bar to go get myself a drink.
Cool.
Of water, because I used all my money. But I'm going to get as close to Gabriel as I can.
Oh, you think water's free, do you? So do you get close enough to close enough to Gabriel for him to be able to talk to you, or like how close are you getting when you say?
Yes.
Cool. So yeah, you're.
I'm all up in his business. Like right next to him, basically.
That's the last place you want to be, my dude.
Yeah.
Yep. But might as well steer into this hurricane.
So
Eye of the storm, kiddies. Eye of the storm.
behind the bar is a female dwarf. She is. She's got the attire of someone who spends a lot of time with nature, whether it be little potted plants, gardening. She's got that very look, the little straw hat and stuff like this. She looks very out of place behind the bar. She's of, considering you're elven, she's of a middle-aged thing for a dwarf, but she is, she has, her hair is silver, or from age rather than natural colour. Her eyes have got a very dark amber to them. She's got a bit of jewellery on her that is made out of vine and more natural elements, but it's very pretty, is this jewellery. A lot of effort has been put into it. Hello?
Hi there. Can I just get a mug of water at the moment?
Oh, are you paying for
If
it,
costs anything,
Gideon?
I'll point it. I'll point at Ari.
Gabriel steps up next to you.
Apparently.
I'll get that, dear Azat. Azat being the name of the dwarf. Put it on my tab, won't you, dear? Don't call me dear.
Now you're indebted to it.
Yep.
Nice.
Tankard of water.
There is a water pot in front of you for your soul. There's a water pot in front of you.
Oh, we laugh, but it's probably true.
Oh no, 100%. Like when the fair, like.
So, cheers.
Cheers.
How's the gang? Griffin, Ari, you can see Delphin and Gabriel at the bar talking to each other. Griff's like, don't interrupt me.
Slightly slows down the groove.
Yeah.
You know, just tired. They've been having the runaround all day.
Well, investigating
I mean,
fires,
you
I'm
know,
not
you were there.
surprised.
Yeah. Really, you don't know anyone who can cast detect magic? Because
I never said I didn't know anyone. I said my arcane didn't find it. Well, if they're bad at the job, I will indeed execute them. I'll fire them. We shall see.
You know, until you said the word execute, I was going to ask you if you had a job going.
I do indeed have a job going.
Well, now I know how you deal with your employees. Probably not that interested anymore.
Only the ones that fail the job. Would you fail the job, dear Delphin? I thought you were very honourable and stick to your word and promises.
We do. That's why we're very careful about where we give it.
Well played. Cheers again. So the rest of them joining you. I see the birds got some moves. Oh, and that one there as well. Points at Harry.
Yeah, they're like I say, they're just taking the tension of the day out. You know, again, being stonewalled a bit, didn't quite get to anywhere we were looking to. We honestly thought for a second that you were some sort of a culprit, but nah, you don't strike me as the type.
Hence, deception check.
No, he 100% does not strike me as the type.
Okay.
I'll still roll it. 15.
Cool. I must try harder.
What? Just you know what? I'm not. I'm off duty. I'm not even going to go touch that one. So staying here as well.
I'm not staying here. I'm just enjoying a drink. It's a good place to drink, the Black Dog.
I have heard that. Sawdust Swearwords is apparently really good as well, but you know, I prefer this place.
I am aware.
Totally don't prefer this place, just for reference. Not looking at our sponsors there. So, what's your theory on the whole fire thing and everything else? You've got to have been somewhere, you know, in the middle of it. Maybe not involved, but in the middle.
I believe Marcus burnt the place down to escape me. Did a good job of it as well. Took out half the street.
And you're a resourceful man though. Surely he's got to have had some other things in place for that. I mean, to get out of a Gaius spell, that's some magical artillery. That is.
It is, but it's easily removed if one knows it is a Gaius spell. Surely one of such as yourself who speaks of arcane.
I'm aware of technique and of how it could be done, but honestly, there doesn't seem to be a lot of magical users around here.
You would be surprised. And his eyes go from they're almost a pink red when you first see on them, but they go completely white and then go back to red. Give me an arcana check. Arcane check. Arcana.
Yeah, go on.
Arcana.
Arcana.
Magic rolling dice numbers.
Magic rolling dice number. Let's see. That is a 15 rolled, so it's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Cool. He's used thaumaturgy. Thaumaturgy.
Thaumaturgy.
Yeah, that one.
I'm aware of that spell, but I'm also aware that spell is not a wizard spell. In fact, I would go as far as to say that is from something of a more darker persuasion, perhaps. That's AJ knowing that. I don't know if Delphin would. You let me know if I do.
Well, on your Arcana check, you are a wizard. So.
You're a
wizard. But wizard and warlock don't always necessarily go over.
You know the spell's not available to you. You don't know who it is available to, but you know it's not available to you.
Yeah. Okay. Huh. And you didn't find it? Oh.
I did not.
That's bad.
Don't worry about the blink in the stream there, sir. It's fine.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Magic powers.
I don't go searching through rubble of burnt down buildings.
Fair enough. But neither do the guards either. Do they not have a magic division? Is there no one there to basically deal with that sort of thing? I thought it would be like the first thing anyone did over a fire, check if it was magical.
You will find many wizards among the people of Evendorf. Not much else, but many wizards. And then he sort of looks down at the floor. Oh yes, and the clerics.
The clergy.
Give me an insight check.
That is a 16 on the roll, and I have nothing to insight, I don't think. Oh no, I have a -1, it's 15.
Cool. When he says, and the clerics, he's laughing at the word cleric.
Like they are a lesser being.
Sometimes.
I see.
Sometimes.
Do you never get, roughed up enough that you need one?
I haven't been roughed up in ever, really.
You don't know what you're missing. There's something about that level of violence that sometimes appeals, I hear.
Well, if you ever need roughing up, I know a few people.
Oh, believe me, I have people for that myself.
There is a couple of halflings you just hear him shout over. Gabriel, are you joining back in or what? And he looks across to the halflings playing.
Don't let me
the
keep
card
you.
game. A pleasure. And he nods. Thank you for the drink. And he goes back to the halfling table. So, as you were at the bar, he knows what he said. As you were at the bar, and Zandria and Kesfion are making their way down to the bar, but Zandria, you're staying with with Samo. Ari, Griff, you're dancing away. We shall call it there, as it is 9 minutes past 11. So, wasn't the cliffhanger you would normally get, but thank you very much. We're calling it there, folks. Thank you very much for watching. It was good to see the chat lit up with people watching. Thank you very much for interacting, watching, following, everything else. It's great. The community is fantastic. I hope we gave you a couple of hours.
Gravy time.
Thank you, Choppers78. Gravy time. Thank you very much, Danny, for loved it. Maybonix. Thank you for the GG. Thank you very much for everyone watching, following, etc. Again, I hope we give you a couple of hours respite from the madness of the world at the minute. Check out our sponsors. Take care of yourselves. You can follow the buttons and the social media everywhere. I won't keep you all. Thank you very much. Stay safe, stay sane, and great. See you next Tuesday. Lovely. Thank you very much. Thank you. Say bye-bye, players.
Bye,
Bye, players.